Record.
Hey fellas and ladies. Time to do a Scatty Notes part video. Not going to be long. Did a communal post about phones that we're selling, and a couple of the deals we're doing at the moment you'll see on the website, Seller Solutions Limited website. Doing a new piece of software actually. Called FaceTech. And it's a brand new piece of software that we're doing. And it's still in progress. I'm actually doing an NGRX update video, and in that I'm talking about some switches that we built for extraterrestrial and how we've sold it. But we're trying to work on a new app, and it's at the moment it's dealing with that app because extraterrestrial, as good as it is, doesn't really work with all the call centers. So yeah, and the problem that we're having with the call centers is they don't all use the extraterrestrial servers, and it doesn't see the servers, so it's a nightmare trying to install the phones onto the server, and then it sees the phones. Well, actually they're not phones, they're users. But for you guys, they're phones, if that makes sense. Phones, users, whatever you want to use. And with extraterrestrial, the problem it has is it has a master and a slave network. Now, this is all good for things like relays and switches. You know, where you've got like a master switch and a slave switch. I'm doing a video on that because I've actually got the switches that I'm selling off, and network switches, and the switches that I want to be rid of, because I'm doing something with the other switch. I actually sold 3 switches, but I held a switchboard back and I held 2 other switches back because I was actually building a switch. I'm trying to make a custom switch. That's all hardware. But in the software, you can actually, if it sees a switch, now extraterrestrial, you can use a router as a switch, as long as you've got a DMC. As long as you've got a DMC set. And providing your browser has the right settings. And this is why a VPN is good, because when you've got a VPN, it hides all, you can hide all the main router settings, and on a DMC it'll only see it as a switch, and it'll only have out front what you need on that network, and it'll put all your phones out front. Now, I've talked about switches and routers in another video, I think I did, yeah. So, and I've done a course on it, so I'm doing a video series on it. But my role in the company is when extraterrestrial was still using until this new application gets made. And my role is when there's a problem in the app, we need to write other things for it. And I need to tell Nathaniel, you need to go ahead and make this happen or make that happen. We've even got a wiki on extraterrestrial, which we give to our clients who use the service, because the wiki explains the application in full. It's the whole description, it's the whole, it tells you how to use everything from the phone system to the settings rig. It's called the config, but it's the settings rig, and it's a bit like what's it called? It's a bit like properties on a Mac. And it has settings and subsettings and all the rest of it. And the thing with extraterrestrial is you can set, if you've got a hard phone on the network, you can set all the hard phones as well as the soft phones, and it has everything else for that. So yeah, and the thing is, when you go into, it has each tab, and in each tab, it goes, you have lists for everything. You have everything from your phones to the settings to each phone to the settings of the user and the dashboard, and there's so much that goes in. You have your dashboard settings, then you have your other things you can add, so yeah, and then you have your and then in your settings you have, for programmers, you have your terminal, and we tell people to stay away from the terminal, because in there, in the terminal, it's, I'm trying to think what it's actually called. It says terminal, but in there you can get right underneath the consoles. You can do all kinds in there. You could reprogram the phones. You can program the switches. You can program the brains of the switch. If you've got a call center, you can do all. You can add extra bits and pieces that you want. Like adding extra packets and all the rest of it. I mean, you don't have to, but people do. I mean, this is where extraterrestrial gets, and this is why we like it, because it does so much. There's even a scripts tab, because you can have all your scripts and everything else. You can run and test things, and it's all good for that. But the downside of it is when you've got a call center, it sees things as like a master network and a slave network. And all the slave network does is all it's seeing is the master. So if, for example, you say if you have because extraterrestrial supports, straight out the gate, it supports up to 1,000 phones on any call center. It will support to 1,000 phones, right? But it will support to say, when it says 1,000 phones, it supports 1,000 phones on one. It supports 1,000 phones in the actual configuration. So I'm getting a bit of brain fog here. Yeah. Whereas, say, if you're adding profiles, on each profile it won't support 1,000 phones. So basically, all it's doing is it's looking at the users and going, well, they're slaves. It has to go to the master user, the person who set this up. It has to go to their profile and see their profile and see if there's a server there, and if it's hidden or shown. If it's hidden, it has to go through all the configurations to find it. If it's shown, it's still got to go through all the configurations. It's got to go all the paths to find where it is. And that's why call centers are in a lot of problems. And it's nothing to do with if there's dial tone or not dial tone there. But if the actual software is loaded, it's what it can see, it's what the application itself can see, which is a bit of a problem. And also, it doesn't depend, it depends, like, if people are running it from smartphones and they're running it, like, say if they're calling someone on a laptop, the person on the laptop can see the caller, but the caller can't see it's a bit of a nightmare, so yeah. Another problem that extraterrestrial has is with video quality, and we know that people use Zoom, and there's an add-on for Zoom, and extraterrestrial and Zoom don't really get on very well, but people use it. It's an absolute nightmare because Zoom's not even. We've got things in place, but Zoom doesn't really get on with our application. So because it's not an open source application, and we're looking for open source. But not everybody uses any sort of alternative, so that's why we had to make a plugin. We had to make a relay and a gate, and it was a bit of a disaster. So that's the other issue that we're having. But yeah, and the advertisement company's going good. The building company, there was a bit of an issue on one of the trucks that we had. Well, it wasn't one of our trucks, but we had to take the trailer back today, and then there's 2 trailers in the yard, and you're leaving notes to say, leave that trailer but tip the other trailer, because 1 times out of a million they'll tip the wrong trailer. There's a wheelbarrow full of water that needs tipping. And I know people will come at like half 6 in the morning to do all of the... Well, what they do is they come at half 6 or 6 o'clock, 6 to half 6, open the yard up and start trying to see what's for sale. But we've had, quite lately, we've had trailers turning up to the yard really early, 5:30 at the earliest, and they're obviously been long distance. I mean, our yard opens up at 6:30 because if there's a wagon going out, for example, that needs to go out quite early, and so on and so forth. But customers don't turn up till like 7:30, 8, 9 o'clock, the earliest, And the yard shuts about 9 or 10 o'clock, but then there's the website to consider, which stays open around 24 hours, so if people want to buy stuff, providing that the card machine is going to work. So yeah, but I just hope one of my trailers doesn't flood overnight, and people don't park trailers up properly. So I'm borrowing a wagon next week, and I'm looking after that myself. So I've got Charles driving it for me. Actually, I've got 3 wagons coming next week, so I've got to look after them, and I'll have them stored somewhere where they're not going to get damaged. And then in 2 weeks' time, I've got a wagon coming all the way from Birmingham, and we've got that for 3 weeks, and then it goes back. So, but we got trucks in the shed, and we got a truck that's not very well at the moment. It's leaking very badly, so it's one of them things. It's not starting up properly, so it's a nightmare. And Charles is trying to get his friend over to sort it from the garage where he works. And then they're getting other people over. but also I need to take the computer next week because I need to program in all of the things that need doing. I need to do all that and then take it back around and put it on the desk because there's so much I've forgot to put into it. There's a whole load of work that needs doing, and everything needs re-logging and logging, and then it needs taken back around and put on the desk. Because every day I know that there's things that they haven't logged. You know, people forgot to do things, and so then they need training up how to use the system properly. I've got a new system which I'm trying to get people to use. You know, I want people to use Google Sheets, but I want them to use that properly. I want, and I want the sheet, like, I'm going to print a sheet for Dad and say, look, if you get us to do a job, like if we've done something like tick the wheelbarrow or something stupid like that, all you need to do is put it on there and then that's done, because, I'm there, literally. It's strange because I'm near enough there nearly every day at the moment. And all I do is I go in and out the shed. Now in the summer, it's going to be a different kettle of fish because of the tortoises, I'll have to close off the gate again. So, the other gate, but it's just like coming in and out. Now, my trailers and my wagons, they don't come through this way unless they're turning, but then it's an arsehole because I know people bring in trailers the wrong way and it's way too narrow to get a trailer through. It's way, way, way too narrow. We've measured it. But it's like, forwards, reverse, blah, 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 all the rest of it. But we're doing some work in Greybank Village, we're doing some work there. We are doing some work that is off-site, and there's a whole load of work to do. There's foundations being put in, we're doing extensions on big office buildings, and it's just, everything just keeps mounting up. But I just keep going and pop into my workshop to check there's nothing, that nothing's adding up. I mean, I'll see something in the office and go, why have they left that there? Or why are they doing that? Or why are those tools there? But it just adds to the whole thing. And I want to finish to make a rant about Facebook because my Facebook keeps crashing. And I'm hoping that someone hasn't reported me. Because I blocked someone and then I'm hoping that the other person hasn't gone and reported me because my Facebook's just been crashing. Now, I'm not asked about Facebook, to be frankly honest with you. I've got pages on there. But I can change accounts. It is an arse because the things that are connected to my Facebook, like my Spotify, so I do need to check that I'm not being hacked or scammed or anything. Or whether it's just too big for my phone. Now it's all, I don't know how big Facebook actually is. I know YouTube takes up my phone more than Facebook does. But I mean, if I'm hacked, I'm hacked, but the one thing I am worried about is my Spotify because it's connected to my Facebook. So I need to get that looked at some point. This is the problems that it's caused. So I can't do anything. Facebook keeps crashing all the time, and I don't know what the issue is. I'm trying to get to the bottom of it, and that's basically it. It's just a worry. It's just a small worry. It's not like a life or death situation. The only life or death situation is if someone's tried to hack me and they've managed to. Like, the thing is, my Spotify's through it, and I pay for Spotify, but I use my Facebook. Now, if someone's hacked my Facebook, could they easily find my Spotify or what's connected to it? Then can they find my bank details? They're only the little things, to be honest. And to be honest, I don't really use my bank card all that much. And so, I'm more worried if someone actually hacked my Facebook and then found my Spotify, because I use Spotify Premium, and I'm not asked about trying to find all the music again. What I'm asked about is people trying to, what's the name, do. So, I don't know what to do, really. I'm going to try and reinstall Facebook and then try and get to the bottom of it. But the other projects, the Imaginary Friends project has sort of come away from Facebook. I'm writing a thing. I've also got a Wattpad. The Tales from the Vaults is a Wattpad book, and it's the only book on that account. I'm gonna make a Tumblr and just have that. I'm gonna use Tumblr more because it's better, but I'm using it more for like what I used to use it for, but like a journal and stuff, so people can find stuff if they wish. But I'll also have links to it through other means, probably through my Instagram, because so yeah, I haven't even haven't even used Instagram yet, so it's it could be just one of those issues that but the Imaginary Friends blog, that's now being written properly. It's a fully fledged document and all the rest of it. And speaking of the Imaginary Friends blog, it's
9:52 p.m.
9:52. I best say should go right. Anyway, bye for now.
Mic trigger. Mic lock. Finish recording.